everything really changing. Leaving your hometown absolutely changed my life. Like, I don't even know if it was legal. That wasn't a thing where I lived. That is important to success. Good morning, squad. This whole weekend vlogging thing didn't really work out too well because I just honestly kept forgetting to bring my camera everywhere. And so I thought that we could have like a little heart to heart right now. It's Monday morning and I'm just gonna get ready for the day. It's 6 a.m. 6:30 maybe, so I'm a little slow at the moment. But I thought we could have a little heart to heart. For the people who have been, you know, subscribed for a long time, I feel like since my original like moving to LA video, there have just been so many changes, and they all honestly came as a result of hard work and not giving up. And I feel like I am at a point where I get to say that because I did put in the work. I kind of probably too would get annoyed if someone's like, oh, you just have to work hard and then you're gonna get exactly what you want. But I did do that and I didn't, you know, stop. And I have a couple things I feel like to say about that, as far as, you know, getting where you want to be in life and following your dreams and not letting, you know, other people stop you. The town that I'm from originally, and obviously people will see this video that are from there, no hate to it at all. I mean, it's just a small town though, where I feel like a lot of people I know stay local. You stay with your family in the area, like maybe your grandma lives down the street, your aunt's your neighbor, something like that. And like, it just gets comfortable. People settle down early. People in my grade are having kids and stay around, you know, the area because it's safe and it's where your people are. And I totally get that. But my family, you know, was never really like that. I wasn't originally from that town. I was born in Massachusetts and I moved there when I was a baby, and, you know, I traveled, and I was really lucky to have family that's all over the US, so I would go visit them, and it took me to a lot of different places, and I was able to travel at a young age, which I'm obviously, you know, really grateful for, and it's something that I'm very lucky to say. But also I worked for it. Like, a lot of people, you know, saw a lot of my travels that I've been on inside and outside of the US, and they think, you know, that I come from a really rich family, which is not true at all. I got my first job when I was 14 years old. I don't even know if it was legal for me to be working at that age, but I would do whatever I could to make as much money as possible at a young age. So with me working from such a young age, you know, a lot of people choose different things that they want to spend their money on. And for most people I know, that may be clothes or shoes, or just put it right in their savings. But that was never me. Mine was always travel. Like, I don't want birthday gifts. I want to go to New York. Or I don't want Christmas gifts. I want you to pay for half of my Airbnb stay going here. So that was always the trade-off that I chose, which obviously gave me experiences in other places that made me comfortable enough to leave. That's what I'm getting at. I obviously understand why some people stay in their hometown, and I think it's amazing to be around family. I mean, my family is everything to me. But I also believe that the biggest opportunity that you could have for growth is leaving your hometown, leaving where you're from eventually. I mean, you don't have to do it as early as I did it, but even if it's not permanent, going away for college or going away for a year, doing something like that. And I know it's a luxury to say. Some people have reasons why they have to stay. They have to stay and provide for their family, or they have to, you know, there's obviously a bunch of other reasons. But if you have the opportunity, leaving your hometown is what absolutely changed my life. Like, my mom is my best friend. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But I knew that if I stayed in that town, I would fall into the cycle of being stuck there, pretty much, or being too comfortable. You get too comfortable with the people and you never want to leave. Luckily, I didn't have a million family members there, you know, like it was just like, it was me and my mom at that point. My siblings were living with my dad. Yeah, it was still really hard, but my mom, you know, also saw the importance of me going and seeing other places and how it would change my life. So that's pretty much the first thing I would say is, like, if you can get experiences outside of your hometown, that is important to success. You have to see what you're missing out on, see what the other opportunities are. Like what I do for a living, if I was in my hometown, I would have no idea that's even a real job. Like I do social media management, I own my own management company, post for social medias. Like that wasn't a thing where I lived. Nobody was like doing that. You know, you work traditional jobs that people work in towns, like that aren't in, you know, big cities. So from traveling, you know, I moved to LA at a young age. I did college all online. That is another thing that was the best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever made. And same goes for this. It completely depends on who you are. Totally understand that. By doing all online college, I missed a lot of experiences that I'm sure many people really cherish. Like I didn't get the college party, frat, sorority, college friends that turn into bridesmaids. Like I didn't get any of that experiences, but I feel like my trade-off was so completely worth it. Instead of doing in-person college, I moved to LA at 18 and started all online college. If you're gonna spend the money to house and board on a university, you can spend that money to get an apartment in your favorite city. That is just my opinion. Again, this is not for everyone, and not everyone has, you know, the ability to just leave their town. I don't want to be insensitive, but like I'm speaking this of like if you could, you should. I talked to my boyfriend about it a lot because he went to a four-year college, a university. He went to Boulder and got the whole experience, did a frat, you know, and he even says, you know, like, yeah, parties were fun. You know, I have friends to show for it that I still talk to this day. But the trade-off he's seen me get, you know, it's, to me, to him, to some other people, it's a better trade-off. I did not get to spend my weekends at a frat party, but I had my business by the time I was 20 years old. I was making the income of, you know, people from my hometown that were 40, 50 years old. I got to make that by the time I was 20. And this might not be important to everybody, but if you're really asking me how I got where I am, which is a lot of the questions I've been getting on Snapchat recently, and I do Q&As on there, a lot of people are like, how is this possible? How did you do this? You're 21 years old, living in a very, very expensive place, and obviously just enjoying life, which is valid, which is so true. These are the steps that I took to get there. So not doing in-person college obviously gave me all that time when I was, you know, 18, 19 years old, right after I moved here, to just work full time. So I was working at Shake Shack when I first moved here. It was not a glamorous experience moving to LA. It wasn't like I had $1 million in my bank account and could just immediately start chilling and posting on social media. That's not the case at all. I moved to LA with not enough money in my bank account, and I immediately got a job at Shake Shack and was working away my entire days, getting fucking grease all over my clothes, going home sad, like just like not enjoying the experience whatsoever. But it was a trade-off. Yeah, I hated my job and did not really enjoy it, but I was getting to spend my weekends or spend my off days in freaking Los Angeles, California. And if you're from Hagerstown, Maryland, that's lit. So then I started, you know, meeting people, and I met the owner of a law firm that I eventually worked at as an assistant, and then I busted my butt there. I was doing the work of like a paralegal as an assistant at a law firm. I've never did law school. I never did anything about law school, but I can learn to do something if it's gonna get me further in life. So I was making great connections there, and I stayed there for a while, like a year, while I worked at this law firm. I quit Shake Shack and was just doing online school at the same time. And then, you know, in my last 2 years of college, which really turned into 1.5 or 1 year, that's when I started my business, because I was like, okay, I'm graduating with a degree in marketing. How can I, you know, start getting experience in a marketing field? Because working at a law firm, although it's helping me in other ways, surely not helping me in the marketing workforce. That's when I started my business, networking to people I knew in LA, you know, like, hey, I have a passion for social media. I want to work in social media. Would you let me post for you and take over some of your work? Because I know that you're trying to post on 6 platforms a day. So I started making connections with friends in the area, and that's how I originally started doing social media management. And then when that income started replacing the law firm income, that's when I was able to quit. So that's another thing, is I always keep my old job until my new job is making me enough money to leave that old job. I don't just quit without knowing, you know, if I'm gonna make enough money to provide for myself. So working hard was never an issue, or working a job I didn't love, because I knew the value of earning money so I could travel and gain other experiences, and also grow my savings so I could eventually get into better apartments. Now, doing online school is also what helped me be able to do this at such a young age, because I graduated high school a year early when I was 17, and I started online college immediately that summer. So I was 17 when I started college, and then I did full summer semesters. So that's 2 extra semesters right there, 2 summers, that's an extra year, and I finished college in 3 years. So I finished high school a year early, and then I finished college a year early. So I'm 21 and I graduated college with a bachelor's degree a year ago. I think that is better than partying. But again, that is just me. I've never been a huge party person. If you know, want those experiences, I totally get it. I sometimes do have moments where I'm like, am I awkward in this social, you know, situation because I didn't have that in college? That's, again, part of the trade-off, but you also could move to your dream city, meet friends, and party there, you know? I'm just saying. So that's pretty much my take on how I got here. It's a very short explanation. Obviously, there's so much more that goes into it, but I would say the main things are online school, finishing high school early, and just like getting school done as fast as I could, doing it all online while working multiple jobs. Again, like when I even lived in my hometown, I was lifeguarding, working at a restaurant, and modeling at the same time. And then when I moved here, I was working at Shake Shack in a law firm and trying to do social media at the same time. So working hard, obviously, that was always part of it. I was never given any money. My parents didn't give me any money to move to LA. They didn't pay for my apartment ever. They didn't pay for anything in my apartment. And I never had a trust fund or a handout, and I didn't want one. Like, my parents are very generous. My mom would have, you know, helped me if I was absolutely gonna fail, but she straight up told me, you know, like, if you're gonna move to LA, you gotta be able to do it on your own. And I agreed with that. I didn't want to come here on anyone else's dime. I didn't want to feel like I owed anyone. And so working hard was always part of it. Working to pay the bills. I never signed up for more than I could afford. My first apartment, I shared a bedroom with my friend, and we had another roommate as well. We actually had 2 other roommates there, and that was not fun. That was not a fun experience, sharing a room or having random roommates you met on Facebook. That didn't go well at all. But we wanted to live there. We wanted to live in LA more. We wanted the experience more than we cared about who we were living with. Once we finally didn't have to have roommates anymore, my roommate and I were able to get our own apartment in our own bedrooms, but then it was in Burbank. It was way out there. It was not in the area we wanted to be in. That was another sacrifice we made, that to where we were both driving an hour every day. It was a better place, but obviously it was not where we wanted it to be. And then our third apartment in Santa Monica, we had our own rooms again. It was in the location we wanted it again, but it was a shitty apartment. It had termites that came out in the summer. It had a very kind of rickety setup. We had to park on the street. We were off an alley. It really wasn't ideal. Like, I don't know, I don't want to explain it and like shit on them, but like, landlords were not involved. It's not a good place to be. No one's helping you out. It was just very old. Things weren't working well. We had no AC, which is not smart. That was not smart at all. It wasn't a good place, but at the same time, I was, you know, renting a place below my means, which gave me the opportunity to save money. And then finally, after, you know, these years of working my butt off and staying in these shitty apartments and being, you know, hating the situation, although I was always very positive. You can watch my videos. I was still having so much fun because I was in LA. I met my boyfriend. I, you know, met friends along the way, and that was the trade-off. That was part of the trade-off. But then, you know, finally, in the last 6 months, I would say business started doing so much better, like so well, because I was really invested, like full ahead, full steam into this social media management thing, you know, client meetings, picking up new clients, building strategies, hiring people, firing people, and just like really going for it. And there was a payoff. I'm not gonna lie. Business started doing really well. I wouldn't be staying in this apartment if I couldn't afford it. You know, I got to the point where my savings is fluffy. I can make my rent more than enough, and I'm extremely blessed to say that, and I know that. But I also want people to know that it's possible. It was not a handout. Clearly, it's really exciting. and I am so happy. I'm absolutely obsessed with this place, and every single day honestly doesn't feel real yet. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it, but it's an amazing feeling, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, my life is great, your life is shit. I'm literally trying to say that it will pay off if you stay determined and you don't stop. I've lived in LA for 3 years now and been busting my ass. Even when I lived in my hometown, I was busting my ass for 4 years, and you know, there's gonna be a lot of bumps along the way. When I did start finally making money and moving into this place, and I've gotten a lot of shit for it already, from friends, from not friends, from people saying, you know, oh, like, you must be spending all your money because they don't think my business is doing well, or they don't know, because I don't reveal every detail about, you know, my business and who my clients are and who I talk to. And I think that is something I've realized, is that when you keep things to yourself out of, you know, security and privacy, people are gonna hate. If people see you're doing well, regardless, they're gonna hate. I've gotten, like I said, a lot of shit already for this change that's happened in the last month, and that's just always gonna be pure jealousy. Those are the people you don't want in your life, and if anything, it makes it clearer who the real ones are, the ones who are still supporting you, even if, you know, they're a little bit confused about how you got where you are. So that's my piece. Obviously, I still have a lot of work to do. I still have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish, and this is literally just the beginning. I'm just saying that this place is great because it's giving me the freedom now to create my own content and, you know, go into some new kind of paths. I'm really excited. If you guys stayed till the end, watch that whole kind of timepiece there, then thank you so much for caring and watching, and I hope that you guys are, you know, on the road to following exactly your path. And anyone who's hating, just leave them behind, because I've had to leave a lot of people behind along the way. It all works out in the end. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really excited for what is to come and what I can put on this channel, as well as all of my other platforms, which will be in the link in the description below. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I guess come back next Monday for my next video.